Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so I hope you can hear me well from where you are, and I want to welcome you to this orientation uh, to Doc and Data Consulting. Uh, we also call ourselves DND, Doc and Data. I think from the screen we have projected at least something about who Doc and Data is. And we are really glad that you have taken time to be here today. So, this is an orientation class for the advanced Excel program that is scheduled to start, that is next week. That is just to confirm on Monday 7th. Yes, on Monday 7th. So we have scheduled a class to start on Monday 7th, and we hope you'll be able to join that program. So the whole idea on today's program is to just be able to have a discussion, be able to understand how the program is delivered. Okay, that is important. How we deliver the product or the program. Also, to get to know some of our trainers and consultants who uh, coordinate these particular programs or those who handle the classes. So I'm delighted to welcome you to this meeting again. As we wait for others to join, maybe we can start with introduction slowly by slowly, if that is okay, just to be able uh, to start us off. So maybe I can start with the introduction, then I'll give a direction on how we are going to do the introductions. And I'm going to also give my colleagues also time to say something. So my name is Simon, Asina Simon, and I'm the lead trainer and consultant at Doc and Data Consulting. Uh, my role is to ensure quality delivery of programs and also services. So, with regards to training, I have been a trainer for the last 12 years plus, training Microsoft products. I started training the international. So right now they're calling it International Digital, no, International Certification of Digital Literacy (ICDL). So by then we used to call it International Computer Driving License. So I started teaching that when they had launched 2010. So that is about 10, 12 years ago. So I've been teaching those international programs and also training corporates for a very long time. So this is what gives me the edge to at least understand what needs to be done. I've also been a certified tester for the international exams. So if it is matters to do with curriculum, I understand what content needs to go where, what to be covered when, like that. And so my background is in finance and data, up to MSc Finance, and then I've delved into data analysis. I realized in the finance there's a lot of data, or simply admit there's a lot of data that needs to be managed. There are reports, there visualization, and this is why I really got an interest. And about 7, 8 years ago, I started getting into data, the space of data, and it is what I've done up to today. One of the softwares that I've used a lot in either assisting companies to create templates, uh, to create reports, is the Excel software. So the Excel software is an amazing, so it is extremely powerful. Actually, for many years, I didn't know that Excel was that powerful. I used to do the basics until I came to realize that, oh, you can model data using Excel. You can actually clean data using Excel. So it is interesting. It's an interesting software, and once you have the skills, then you are able to make your work easier. You become more efficient and able to work more smarter uh, than others, or than how you were before. So, so that is who I am, Simon. My area, finance, data, and a bit of management. And I think my expectation for a program like Excel is to engage people more. You know, for me at least, I've engaged real life projects using Excel and other softwares. So whenever I'm in a class or in such a setup, I really enjoy sharing the information. Okay, so that is more of like my expectation to share information. And also in this orientation, I would want to also get to understand, maybe get feedback or get proposals on how things might work even better. Okay, so just to make it an open discussion. Okay, so thank you. I don't know if we are comfortable to just do an introduction. I'll call your name. If you are okay to do an introduction, you can proceed. If not, we will just move to the other person and then just do a few introductions. I see we are about 4 5 people, so uh, that is okay. So the first person. So I'm going just to use the chat. So again, if you feel not comfortable talking, it is okay. You can just chat on the type on the box, your name, your details, and then we can pass and then give to somebody. But if you'd want to introduce yourself, then that is very much okay. So I think on the list I can see Alex. I don't know, Alex, if you're in a position to just introduce yourself and maybe talk of what you'd expect. Basically, your something interesting. Your interaction with Excel. How is your interaction with Excel? What has been your experience with Excel? And then, if you're to join this program, what would be your expectation? Those two things: your name, maybe your background professionally, your interaction with Excel, and what you'd expect in such a program. So, very much welcome, Alex. Monica, I see you're not in a position. That's okay. Okay, it's okay. No problem. No problem. Alex, I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, maybe as Alex. Okay. DK, Bur. I know sometimes at these times people are either moving around, so it is okay. DK Buru, you want to say something? Just an introduction. Much welcome.
So thank you, Simon. My name is Buru Daniel, and I have joined late, so I don't know whether there is a format or a way of introducing myself.
Okay.
Yes, perhaps you can be able to guide.
Okay. So we have just had like a few minutes ago. So we were just saying our names and professional background, your interaction and experience with working with Excel, and maybe expectations that you may have in case you might join such a program. What would be your expectations?
Okay, thank you. I'm an agriculturist, agribusiness expert.
Yeah.
For the last 5 years, I've been working in a project as M&E, Monitoring and Evaluation Officer.
Okay.
So I've been interacting with big data, but just using the basics Excel skills, especially when I'm analyzing the data and also doing the reports. So I found it very interesting to explore more on the Excel, on Excel, especially the advanced Excel,
Yeah.
because of the nature of my work.
Okay.
So I'm expecting in the course of this training, I'll gain more skills on that, especially on how to deal with how to analyze the big data,
The big data.
how to the visualizations, and also the visualization that is on the aspects of the dashboard and all that. Then yeah, I think and also on the area of the reporting,
Okay.
how we can generate quick reports from such data.
Big data. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Very true. Very true. Actually, interestingly, a majority of the people have been training now for the corporates. You find most people are either in M&D. The last one I did was somebody was hunting World Bank projects. So there's also always a lot of data associated with donor-funded projects. So there were M&D people, and it was interesting to see even how things like Gantt charts can be used just to simplify the data. So thank you for that. James Ogola, I don't know if you're in a position. Much welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening too.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
I'm an internal auditor working with the government of Kenya.
Okay.
Recently, I moved to a Saga
Okay.
that is doing a lot of data analytic tools. Excel has been one of them, so I found it. I'd only known the basic Excel learned from college. So I wanted maybe analysis while analyzing data. Excel has been used.
Yeah.
So maybe to get an advanced knowledge on the tools in Excel
Okay.
for data analysis.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working with the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board. We are setting standards, and by
Okay.
working with that board, you need to be on top of, because you're setting standards, so you need to be on top of everything.
Yes. Okay.
What prompted me now to get advanced knowledge of Excel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. Actually, I think one of the website I checked and I see some of the good things that the IPSAS Kenya is doing is to create templates. And I've seen so many templates in Excel, which are used for for purposes of reporting. So yeah, maybe if you're in that area, it might be really interesting to understand Excel so that can be able even to create better reports, visualization. If it is templates, be able to create them, and the ability to create something faster is what is key. You can create something using the simple tools, but it may take you almost 2 days, 3 days, a whole week. Sometimes even it becomes impossible to do it. So, but if you can be able to craft solutions very fast, then that is key. Okay, if you're able to craft solutions faster, then that is key. Okay, because that is the essence of Excel, to solve the problem, but also the speed of solving the problem. And then because Excel is a wide tool, it has multiple alternatives. So it is also good to know there's this alternative that can solve the issue. There's that another alternative that can also solve the issue. So being able to understand the different techniques which are alternative, how you can be able to quickly use the reports, which is very key. Before I speak, I know sometimes for us trainers, when we given a chance, we speak and we forget we are supposed to give the rest a chance. So let me. Okay, Keith, I think I've seen your message. Thank you. Maybe just to. Okay, Alex, I think you've talked about. Oh yes, you say you've interacted with Excel for some time. Dashboards, pivot slicers, very interesting slicers, tables VLOOKUP, etc. I know something like VLOOKUP. Sometimes I always challenge it in class. Why use VLOOKUP? Yet we are having the newer functions like XLOOKUP, where you can do, you can use wildcard characters in searching for items. So I can't even personally can't remember when I used VLOOKUP. I always challenge people use index match or XLOOKUP. But I can see you've used interesting things like slicers, which are filters, which are graphical filters, which is interesting. Pivot tables, very interesting. In advanced Excel, we do Power Pivot. We focus more on Power Pivot because of the data modeling. Interesting. So interesting experience. Majority of our clients actually are people either in management, supervisory, people who are tasked with reports. You need to create reports. So we always have to ensure that we have the right curriculum. Okay. Let me go back to the top. Maybe those who have joined, let me see. So we were giving people an introduction, an opportunity to introduce themselves in case they are comfortable. If not, if you're not comfortable with the introduction, you can just type on the chat box, and then that is it. But I can see Esther Okoth, you have joined. I don't know if you're in a position to just do a brief introduction, your name, your professional background, your experience with Excel, your interaction with Excel, and for such a program, what is it that you would expect from such a program? If you're comfortable, you can unmute and just do an introduction. If not, you can use the chat box. Much welcome. Okay, so I've not heard you, but I hope you can be able to hear me on your side. Oh, okay, no problem. You can use the chat box for the introduction, and I think that will be in order. Last person, Jamal, I don't know if you're in a position.
So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can proceed.
So I'm actually John. My name is John.
Oh, okay. Yes, John.
Yeah. And I'm in sales.
Oh, sales.
I'm in sales. Yeah, it's a profession. So what I normally do is making these quick reports. And we have a system that we normally extract data. Then we export to the Excel. Then we arrange it. So I've been interacting with the Excel. And maybe a question that I want to pose to you, I don't know at what level do you do you suggest I need maybe advanced Excel or intermediate? I may suggest that I want to do the advanced.
Yes.
Yet I go there and I achieve blank. So that is a dilemma I have. I don't know if I should do the intermediate before the advanced, or I am right to do the advanced. So I don't know what gauge should I use for that decision.
Or for that particular. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you have been using, when we were creating curriculum for the Microsoft Office Specialist and the ICDL, we used to say we have people who are users and those who are non-users. So users are people who have been using this software. You have used it to key in data, you have used it to maybe create reports, charts. So if you've already done that level of, interaction with Excel, then probably you are a user. Okay, you have been able to use it. But if you've not been working with Excel, maybe the last time you opened an Excel file is 3 months ago, then it is proper you start with the intermediate. The good thing about the intermediate, it's so here we've done it. We've put it as for 2 weeks of contact plus 1 more week of practice. So we take like another 3 weeks to 4 weeks for practice and hours of contact. So if you have been using, John, if you've been using the Excel on a daily basis for your reports, maybe you've used the basic functions like sum, lookup, which is the other one, sum, if, those basic common.
Average.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if you've used those ones.
Sum, average.
Yes. If you've used those functions, then you have already moved past the intermediate. Intermediate is good when you are very green and you want to do like a lot of practice. That is where you might fall. But actually, I've gotten this question so many times. When I'm working with corporates, I normally create for them a skills gap assessment. Normally, it is very shallow, but there's something I'm working on, though it will not be ready right now. It's like an assessment which will be helping people to understand where they are at the Excel level. Because there's the intermediate, then there's the advanced, and then there's the expert level where you use the Visual Basic to control Excel. So normally we have those 3 levels. Here at Token Data, we have 3 levels: the intermediate, the advanced, and the VBA advanced, which is more of the expert level. But if you have already interacted with Excel, I can suggest you get into the advanced. So if advanced, by the way, we get into advanced and you feel okay, maybe the first 1 week you feel no, this is not what I intend to do, we can always reschedule you to the intermediate. But from what I've heard, you've interacted with Excel, you've used formulas, basic formulas, the if, the sum, the basic ones. You've not done any multi-level nesting of functions. If you've not done those things, maybe you've not used wildcard characters for the purposes of extracting reports. If not, then you may need to do the Excel, the advanced Excel, because that is now where we work with Excel. Intermediate is good if, again, you're starting, you want to polish and understand the software. You don't want to rush into, because there's something like nesting of function. So in intermediate, you'll be introduced slowly into that. In advanced Excel, we don't, maybe just a small part where we say, okay, this is a function, this is how it works, and then we get into. So, but in intermediate, you look at a function, if function, you work on it, you use the function dialog box, you see how arguments are created using the function dialog box, slowly by slowly. But in Excel, the assumption is that at least you know some function, at least you know today function, basic functions like that. So I would suggest get into the advanced level. The first week we'll do advanced formatting. The second week we get into advanced functions, nesting of functions. So within the 2 weeks you can gauge and see, am I okay? If you feel it is not okay, you can always go back, get into the intermediate, then rejoin the class. But advanced is the way to go. Okay.
Thank you so much. I think with those insights, I think I now know my place.
Okay.
I will start with the advance, and I'm excited with that option. If it's not working, you go to the other one, the intermediate.
Yeah, we can.
So thank you for that insight.
Thank you, much welcome. I don't know if there's anybody I've left out with regard to the introduction. So again, if you've just joined and you want to introduce yourself, or if you're not comfortable introducing yourself, you can just use the chat box. We have so many people who are introducing themselves, which is also good for professional networking. I think last week we had the award of certificates, and we had a very great session with those who had finished some of the courses in that first quarter. I think that we are going to share the pictures and such in our professionals group. So at least make sure you join there so that we can share more details. Let me see if I've left somebody. Rose, are you in a position to do an introduction and then we progress?
Yes, my name is Rose.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Rose Wawire. I'm not so sure what else to say, but I'm so happy to join this group.
Yes.
I have not yet decided what to do. I'm
Yeah.
happy that when I was joining, you were talking about the advanced and intermediate. So I'm so happy to hear that. I think I will also decide to join the advanced level for the first week. I
Yes.
will rate myself, and from there I'll decide on what to do.
Yes, yes. I think that is the best approach. You take the advanced. In case you reach a point and you feel, no, this one is not for me, we can always reschedule or we go back to the intermediate. But what I've done is that we are in the process of creating, improving on our workbooks and also that assessment, pre-assessment test, so that when you do it, it can give you a gauge of where you are and what you can and what you need to do. But as at now, the advanced level is perfectly okay. So thank you so much, Rose. We were just saying our professional background and maybe our interaction with Excel and what maybe we expect from such a training. Yeah?
Okay. My profession is I have done project management, but I work as a project management officer, mostly in admin. So I interact with Excel on a daily basis.
Okay, so that is good. So I think then you are fit to start from the advanced. But then if you have interacted with Excel, then you're good to go. If on a daily basis or maybe on a weekly basis you touch Excel somewhere, and
Yes.
yes, then you're good to go to start with the advanced level. Okay.
And then what did you mean by workbooks?
Oh, so normally we have designed study books. A study book is where you, so during class, I don't know if I can be able to demonstrate right now, but these are books where you can read and do more practice. For example, in advanced Excel, we will talk about pivot tables. Briefly, we will not get into deeper of what is a pivot table. So the expectation is that we already know how to create a pivot table. So maybe we'll create it, but now the study book will give you more details. What is a pivot table, types of pivot table, how you can create pivot table. For us at the advanced level, the workbook, the study book at the advanced level has information about the pivot table. And then now, once you read that, it will give you more information so that when you talk about Power Pivot, how to use the Power Pivot for the purposes of modeling, at least you have a study book you can go through. In case maybe you did not have some skills, you can read through it. If it is functions in Excel Advanced, our aim is to do the nesting of functions, application, maybe cleaning or maybe analysis of data using the functions. We can talk of maybe transforming data using functions. But now the study book will have all that information plus the basic information. So you're able to get a manual to read through. So which is also part of the training. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let me see if there's somebody. Esther, you okay? I think you've. I don't know if it is you who texted. Okay. You had said your microphone has an issue. I think that is okay. So I think we can start today's session. Thank you so much for the introduction. For those who just joined, I had introduced myself. My name is Asieno Simon, and my background is in finance and management. I have managed an institution, a technical training institution, for quite some time, at least 6 or 7 years. And then I have been training Microsoft products together. So we used to call it MOS, Microsoft Office Specialist course, and also the ICTL program, which now rebranded to International Certification of Digital Literacy. So I used to do the spreadsheet trainings, and I focused. I got an interest in data, and for the last 12 years, that is what I've been doing. Excel, I've used it intensively. The first version I started training is version 2010. Version 2010. I used to train corporates in version 2010. I think right now we are in version 2024 of the Excel. Okay, so I've been in that whole journey. There's a reason actually why today I will insist that if you'll be joining the class, make sure you have Excel 2021. Excel 2021, because any version below that, there are some things we are going to explore that maybe you'll not be able to find in the older versions. Okay, so that is what I do: finance, management, and then now data. Okay, and for the data tools, I've specialized in Excel, but I've specialized in Excel. Interestingly, not so many people specialized in a tool. So Excel and now Power BI. So Excel, Power BI is what I do like on a daily basis together with project management a bit, and financial management for public sectors, especially for donor-funded projects. So most of these trainings, they involve data. And so it is important to understand how to collect data, analyze data, model data, visualize data in a professional way. People know how to analyze data, and there's so much information out here on how to analyze data. But there's the standard way of doing it. There are the standard terminologies that are used in the industry. There are the standard procedures that are used. So this sort of like organization, sometimes you may know something, but you may need just to organize your thoughts. We call it organization of thoughts in training. So how you organize the thoughts on how things should be done is what we intend to achieve in this program. So that when you have knowledge, it is organized even in your mind. If it is data collection, what are the different data collection tools? Can Excel be used as a data collection tool? If it is analysis, can it be used for analysis, or do we need to have other add-ins for it to work properly? So those are some of the information. And I'm privileged, at least because I was a certified ICDL tester. We used to do the international exams. So I was able to access the curriculums, the international curriculums. So when I was designing the content for D&D, I ensured it matches and goes beyond what is captured in the curriculum. So, and that is for the advanced, they call it advanced spreadsheets. So there's something we are going to, so whatever is captured in the international curriculum, I looked at that, and then I looked at some of the projects that I've done. For example, I've supported a company called G Insurance on data migration. I've supported another company called, I don't know, Furniture Dynamics or what, in terms of creating templates. There's another manufacturing firm we've worked on templates, now using Excel. Okay, even in sales, I think I've had, I don't know if it is John that you're working in sales. Somebody came up with a proposal where they do follow-ups for their clients. So they wanted the template to automatically, on a weekly basis, present the clients to be followed up. So we were able to create that using functions and formulas. So that on a weekly basis, once you change once the week starts, you're able to see people to be followed up that week. I mean, for the prospects and such. So it is interesting. So looking at the curriculum, looking at what the industry needs, and then also because I've trained the MRM, Copia Kenya, so many staff. One of the interesting things when I was starting with the corporates, when I started with the corporates, I used to get a lot of challenges. You know, when you go to in a boat and you have a number of people who are either finance people or HR, or there are those who know a bit of Excel. So they would throw in a challenge, and so that was when I was starting. So I used to sit down and it would challenge me. I would not sleep that day until I would get it. So that intensive practice for the last 12 years is now what has made me to be able to be fine in Excel. Okay, so right now I don't think there's any Excel challenge that I cannot manage. Though we normally say there's nobody who is a custodian of knowledge. Nobody knows everything. So yes, there's always something out there that we don't know. So also myself, I also still continue to search for information. Okay, so that is some of the things we are going to do. And of course, when you talk about the curriculum, or now the curriculum now is the content that we are going to cover. And then something else I think is so that I also don't take much time, in terms of the content, if you go to the website, I think it is actually what I'm displaying there, because I would want to take you through the content. So the content that I took time to develop, okay, especially for the Excel program, and just showcase what is it that we are going to cover. Okay, let me open. So under training, there is data management and digital literacy programs. So we have a number of trainings. So this is what I was talking about. We have the intermediate, the advanced, and then we have the VBA advanced. Okay, and then now the advanced Power BI. So if maybe you want to start, intermediate is something to do. Then the interesting programs, I'm looking at something here, data protection and compliance. That is where we are heading to. Okay, you get customers' data. Do you store? Do you delete? How do you manage it? So something interesting. So intermediate, advanced, and then the VBA advanced. All these programs, whether it is intermediate to advanced, I always advise, make sure you get into the program, learn the program, then give yourself time. Give yourself time to learn it. Okay, give yourself time to practice it and become good at it, so that you are able to the practical part of it is what is key. So for example, advanced Excel here. Now, if I would want to get the content, I'll just click advanced. Then if you scroll down, there's some information there. So these are just part information for guidance, what we are going to cover, the X lookups. So at the bottom, there's this training program outline. Training program outline. So this training program outline, let me just click on it. Yes. I don't know if, yes, you can be able to see it. Good. So this is the content that you're going to cover. This content has been, actually, we started training with Doc and Data in 2021. That's when we introduced the training programs. We were purely a consultancy firm, data, how to templates, reports, that was it. But in 2021, we started doing the trainings, and as also doing other trainings in other places. So we have improved this content to a point now we are very confident that this is the content that will give you the ultimate Excel skills. Now, before I get into the details of the content, maybe I can introduce one of our members. That is Albert. He's also he's an assistant consultant and trainer. He can also introduce himself and maybe say something and also tell us maybe what session 1 is, part 1 is, and then I will take over. I tell you bit by bit. For example, I would want to challenge you and tell you that there's a difference between unique and distinct. So those are some of the things. And then unique and distinct, how do we extract such data in Excel? So Albert, I don't know if you're in a position, you can at least say hi, because I know you're somebody people can also reach out to when it comes to this data matters.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Albert Kageni, and my background is in actuarial science. I do a lot of data analysis and data visualization, which is why I'm honored to be a speaker today. I also serve as a consultant and as a trainer, so I'm going to give you a brief overview on the course outline, and maybe just to set the stage, and then after that, Simon will walk you through each section in detail. So as you can see, we have part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. We've categorized our content into 4 parts, and each part has 3 sessions. Okay.
Albert, maybe you can add more volume. I think those who are not able to hear. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes. And now you. Okay.
Okay. So, as I had said, I'm going to give you a brief overview on the course outline. And I was talking about how we've categorized our content. So we have part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. Sorry, and part 4. And in every part, there are 3 sections. We have section 1, section 2, section 3. Yeah, section 1, section 2, and section 3. So each section takes 2 hours. So each part takes 6 hours. So according to how we schedule our online programs, the first part will be we are going to learn the first part in the first week. So if we are starting it on 7th or on a certain week, so we are going to go through the first session on Monday, the second session on Tuesday, and the third session on Wednesday. Yeah, 2 hours. So I believe that's it. So the second part will be the following week, and voila. So yeah, so I'm going to hand it over to Simon, so that maybe he can give us a detailed information on what is in our course outline. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if Simon, you're still there.
Yes. Okay. So Albert is one of our junior consultants, and so his area is more of actuarial science and data analytics. He's the one who, if we get into intermediate, he's the one to ensure we do as much practice as possible. Okay. So I think now let me talk about the content, because this is the interesting part. Okay. But I hope I'm clear. I hope there's no echo. There was some echo, I think, from the other side, from Albert's side. So maybe they can reduce that one. So let me talk about the content, so that also in the interest of time. Now, part 1, which is going to be an equivalent of 6 hours. So these 6 hours, we can either do it as a block. I think for the corporate groups, they normally require we do like a block. Okay, so maybe a full day, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. But sometimes it is a bit strenuous. So for our case, what we've done, in case you need the block, we do it once a week. So for 4 weeks. That is part 1. So part 1 is either week 1 or a full day. But now for the scheduled programs that we're having, it will be either Monday, session 1, Tuesday, session 2, Wednesday, session 3. Okay. So that is part 1. Then we'll have part 2, which is I don't know if there's still echo. Let me just close this office door. Just a minute. I close the door. Okay, I think now we are good. So there is a bit of echo from the other office, so wanted to just make sure we do not have any interference. So I was talking about the part. I think Albert has talked about part 1, what we cover in week 1, part 2, part 3, like that. So that means we need a whole month to cover these. And of course, we will be doing it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so that now you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do practice. Okay, 1 month is still not enough, but at least if we do 3 sessions and then we have half of the week to do practice, then that is okay. And I'm always available, by the way. Once we do the 3 sessions, from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm available for any consultation, because at the end of every session, you can see in the 3rd session we have practice files, case studies, reviews, and takeaways. So we normally have like an assessment, an application file, something maybe I've gotten from the industry, some problems I got, then I've crafted them in sort of like an assessment. So we now do that one over the week. So we try to practice on real life problems. So every week, at the end of every week. Now the way we have structured is, so part 1 will cover more of formatting. Formatting is important. Formatting is simply the appearance of how cells will look like. Okay, formatting is changing the appearance or altering the appearance of a cell, not altering the content of a cell, and that is very important. So when you put the 1000 marker, or maybe sometimes you use what we call custom numbers, you put text in numbers. Normally you have not adjusted or you have not edited the content, you've adjusted the appearance of that particular cell. Okay, now there's the basic formatting, the bold, the italic, what else, underline, changing the font color, changing the background color. Those are basics. Okay, but now when you get into the advanced level, okay, even conditional formatting is basic, but now something like using a formula, and you can see in session 2 part 1, let me adjust and see, let me increase the magnification. So you can see in session 2 part 1, you can see there we have conditional formatting, unique, non-distinct, and then the other interesting one is using custom formula. Okay, those are now the advanced bit in conditional formatting, because conditional formatting you can be able to do it, but now how can you extract what we term as unique, non-distinct? Maybe let me give an example. I hope there's no issue with the time. Maybe I can just add 5 minutes. I know we had said 7 to 8. When you say unique, non-distinct, or unique, distinct values, it simply means you can have items that have not been repeated. Okay, and I've seen many softwares, they're having these two items, especially analytical softwares. You can have distinct and unique values. So distinct, these are items that have not been repeated completely. So they exist independently. Okay. And then you have values that are representatives. Okay, you have values that are representatives. They are unique, but they are representatives of the data. Let me give an example. If you want to find out the first transactions, or maybe there are customers in you have clients in your organization, and you want to see the first transaction that each customer had, you can always extract that information. Then you can always come up with something like, how many clients only transacted with us once? Okay, how many clients transacted with us once? So those transactions that are not going to be repeated anytime, when you're using the advanced conditional formatting techniques, the advanced condition can help you to get those unique values, whereby maybe a client only purchased once and they never purchased. Conditional formatting can do that. You format, then you extract based on cell color or font color. Okay. Now, remember when I was starting, I said Excel is wide. We can have what we call alternative techniques. So in Excel, it is good to know the advanced conditional formatting, especially unique, non-distinct values. But it is also good to know, how do we extract representative values? How do we extract representative values? You've had so many transactions, so many clients transactions, and maybe how you've structured your data sets. The word data set is another terminology. Maybe we'll talk about it in the program. But maybe how you've structured your data sets, you're not able to pinpoint the exact number of clients that you have, or maybe customer base that you have. Okay. Or if it is a project participants that you have, you've been serving participants, maybe it is a project, a donor-funded project, and you want to get the exact number of beneficiaries of that particular project. Unique and distinct will not work, because these are items that exist without any repetition in your data set. So what we'll do, once we reach in session 1, part 3, when we are talking about the advanced filter command, the advanced filter command has a command there where you can extract distinct, unique values, or basically representatives. Okay, so you see the ability to understand multiple tools that can help you to arrive at different destinations. It is important. Something else, actually, in part 1, session 1. Let me take you back to part 1, session 1. Referencing techniques. Referencing techniques, these are basic, especially something like mixed cell referencing. That is something that we use on a daily basis. Okay, the autofill. You know, something about me is that I will use the standard terms, autofill, referencing. I know this is something actually, you know, it's just that I'm using a different or the standard term in Microsoft. Autofill is where you copy down. We call, I hear people say you drag and then it will replicate. We don't call it to drag. We say you autofill. And actually there's a command called the autofill command, whereby actually right now Microsoft have really advanced it, where you can even use it to give you a series of numbers. Okay, so if you look at the referencing techniques, there's something here, mixed cell referencing. Now, mixed referencing can be used for the purposes of prediction. Okay, mixed referencing can be used for the purposes of prediction. But there's another command here, data tables, which can be used in place of what? Mixed cell referencing. So data tables also can be used for the purposes of forecasting. So there's a command called the what if analysis. So the what if analysis, there's a sub command called data tables. That data table, that technique or that sub command, it works the same way, or it produces the same results as the mixed cell referencing. So two different techniques done differently. Sometimes people say the mixed cell is a bit easier as compared to the data tables, but the results are the same. So there are benefits. For example, for the what if analysis, you can auto refresh it. For the mixed cell referencing, if you do a mistake, you have to rework on it afresh. Okay, so it is two different techniques that are going to give you the same result, but they're done differently. Yes, Esther, you have a question? I see you have raised your hand. Okay. So now, so that is what do you call it? The part one, which is more formatting, yeah? Formatting data. But you see, referencing is not formatting. Referencing is more of an intermediate level technique, but we are still going to do it because I'm going to add something like 3-D referencing that is normally not covered in the basic. Maybe something that you do maybe on a daily basis, even in practice, is the relative and the absolute, which I'm also going to show you what they are. Okay, and then we now do the what if analysis. That is a tool that people ignore a lot. Something like goal-seek, you've computed a formula, but you want to make one of the variable the subject of the formula. You can simply use the goal-seek to do that for you. Okay, so week one is more of introducing you to some of the key techniques that you need to master, especially in data entry and data formatting. Because in session 2, there's something there we're terming as data validation. Data validation is important, especially if you're working with a group of people and you create templates. You'd want to regulate how this template is going to be used in terms of data capturing. Okay, so you need to validate data. Data validation is simply setting up criteria that will either allow or disallow certain kinds of data. One of the interesting techniques that we do in class is where we create a template. Okay, we create a template where if that form, you open it tomorrow, it will not allow you to key in the information. So you fill it today. So for example, I've given you work and I've told you now, take this document, go and work on it. If you fail to work on it and if it reaches tomorrow, it will tell you, no, you cannot put in yesterday's work. So you're able to regulate what is captured. So that is data validation. So that we talk about date validation. We can also talk about how to use functions, nested functions. There's something interesting. You can also actually check it up online. We call it multi-level list validation. Multi-level list validation. Most of the time we are used to single list validation, where you have maybe gender, age, male, female. You want somebody to either choose male or female. That is just list validation. Okay, but now this is what we call multi-level list validation, whereby for example, if I've chosen a country, Kenya, the next column, if I've chosen Kenya, the next column will only show the counties in Kenya. Then in that column, if I choose a specific county, the next column will only show the sub-counties in that county that we have selected. So you see, these are documents, if you give it out to data collectors, it helps to reduce issues, okay? It helps to reduce data entry issues, because let me tell you, one of the biggest problems that I've seen where people want to analyze data, the problem normally starts with the data collection. So your data analysis process becomes very difficult because during data collection, you either collected data in a wrong way, and now you're not able to correct the mistakes, or the correction or the mistakes will take time. Because before we analyze data, we need to transform data. There's something called data transformation. And data transformation has three processes. I mean, has four sub categories, okay, where we either add more data, delete data. So basically data cleaning, okay? So normally problems start with data collection. And that's why it is important when we are starting, we talk about data validation and we talk about data collection, Excel as a data collection tool, okay? So that when you get data from someone, you can clean it, okay? But if it is you who is going to collect the data, you can collect clean data that will give you an easy time when it comes to either analysis or visualization and also the modeling part of it. So that is what you're going to cover in part one. That is the first week. If we look at the other part, so once I know the first part will be more of practice and just getting to know new things, formatting. There's something we call custom number formatting. Very interesting. Not many people go there. We'll just be able to understand. You know, Excel is a spreadsheet and it works with numbers. So the key thing in Excel is how do we format values or numbers, okay? So we're going to see how to use the special characters in formatting the numbers. By the way, Excel will treat, interesting, if you've done custom number, it will treat positive numbers, negative numbers, and zeros, and also text your data. It will treat them differently. So if you have used conditional formatting, you can use the other type, which is custom number formatting, where you specifically focus on formatting numbers, okay, using special characters, okay? And then now we'll have something like a revision to do to cover the weekend. Now, part two is my interesting area. That is the interesting part. Previously, we used to have just the function, but we said on a daily basis in the second week, we are going to be nesting functions. And this is what I did. So during my day-to-day work, I've realized, or during the consultancies, I've realized the main functions category that are used are the date, the text, the logical, the lookup, and maybe the statistical and the mathematical. You know, there are other functions, but those 6 categories, and you can see them. The first session in part 2, we will start with the text functions, and then the date functions. Let me tell you, anytime you capture data, if it is people's name, you'll have to type. That is text data. Maybe somebody will type their names wrongly, or they will type their names attached together, or they'll type 3 names and you've told them type 2 names, or maybe some funny characters will be in the text. So text functions, which now deal with the text, are very, very important, and they cut across. It doesn't matter whether in finance, HR, and you know, we will maybe at some point we'll write people's names, we will put in some details. So text will always be there, okay? So in text functions, maybe one of the things that I will show you, which is always very interesting, is to extract a part of the text, maybe how to combine the text very fast. Something else is maybe to count the number of characters. You want to see how many people captured 2 names or 3 names, and where there are 3 names, you want to review and see what happened there. So we are going to see how that works. And then the date functions, again, date is another data, we call them data series, is another data series that can never miss in majority of the data sets. Okay, so we are going to see how dates are used now, today, month, year, there's one practical exercise where we talk about members being active. So we'll be looking at if a member joined and then they left, some other came, then they left. We can be able to trace and see when they were active, when they were not active. And you can see after every two types of functions or two categories of functions, we are talking about nesting functions. Now, functions, when you work with functions individually, sometimes you may not be able to do much. The popular function that is used alone is sum function, where you add 2 items or 3 items. But beyond that, most functions you need to combine them. For example, in the text function, len and left, and you can see a nesting, len and left, or right, day and the month, etc. When you combine len and left, then it makes sense. If you combine len and right, then it makes sense. If you combine substitute, trim, and len, then there's something you can achieve from that. So when you combine functions, we call them nesting of functions, they are able to give us a certain desired outcome. And that is now the objective of the advanced level of Excel. Yes, we will understand len function, right function, left. Maybe we'll do 1 or 2, but our primary focus will be how do we combine functions, and then when you combine them, what do they solve? Okay, what can they solve in the industry? Okay, and then the other part is formula auditing. I think formula auditing is not that complex. You know, when you create a very huge nested function, I think the hugest or the largest nested function that I've done is maybe half a page, just functions put together. There was a World Bank template that we were creating, and the functions are so many combined together because they are doing so much that they became like half a page plus. Okay, so this is what we call formula auditing, where you want to see, okay, what does this combination of formulas, what does it do? Okay, so we call it formula auditing. Then there's the logical functions and lookup functions. These ones, actually, this is one of the class that I always make sure people don't miss. This is one of the class that sometimes I even split this session into 2 parts. Logical, so that we have logical candle, then lookup candle. Because logical, they do tests your data using the if. If this is that, you test. So you can do multiple tests, then you see the outcome. Okay, using and, or, not. So the if function is a very powerful function. If. Now, when you combine it, when you put one if and another if, it becomes even more powerful. If you want to test multiple items, and then maybe an action is taken, then you combine if and or. Okay, so the logical tests or the logical functions, they are used for the purposes of testing your data so that we can see within this data we test, then maybe we perform a calculation. Okay, if a certain criteria is met, then we perform. So that is important. And then we have the lookup functions. Lookup functions, I think if you ask anyone who has interacted with Excel, and then you ask them, oh, by the way, search for me something in this data set, they will tell you, oh, so you just VLOOKUP, just use VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP and the lookup, of course, VLOOKUP, not VLOOKUP, lookup is becoming the lookup function is becoming a legacy function. Actually, I think it's already a legacy function. And the VLOOKUP, of course, has its own challenges together with the HLOOKUP. So in advanced Excel, maybe we will look at it. But what is important, we will look at some of the newer functions that can be able to help us. That is the XLOOKUP, the XMatch, and maybe the index, and something like the offset. Okay, where can you apply them? Okay, for example, XLOOKUP is an amazing. I think if there is any function that was introduced in 2021, is the XLOOKUP. That one is the best. There are things you can do there. You can ask it, functions, the lookup functions, they'll always start searching from the top going downwards. You can ask it to start from the downwards going upwards. Okay, if an item is not found, normally lookup functions will return the NA error. For the XLOOKUP, you can customize how that will happen. If there's an NA, you can customize it. And then another interesting thing with the XLOOKUP, is that you can use what we call wildcard characters. Okay, wildcard characters, so that you can be able to extract specific or to search words that contain specific characters. So it's an amazing function. So we look at it, and then when you look at XLOOKUP, we're going to look at the different techniques in XLOOKUP. For example, you can say you're looking for the name, and then you want to return maybe the amount they paid. But you can also do something like you look at the name together with the ID. So we call it multiple match lookup. So it's something you can be able to achieve using the XLOOKUP. And then, of course, mathematical function and statistical function, the COUNTIFs, the SUMIFs. There's something with, not SUMIFs, SUMIF nested. SUMIF and SUMIF nested. There's some practice we are going to do regarding that. So functions, we will spend again a lot of time. After the first week of making sure we have warmed up, we have understand, then we get into functions. Sometimes we even have to extend and add more days when it comes to functions, because that is now the heart of advanced Excel, where the analysis is. So once we've done the analysis, we've done data collection, we've seen how validation and formatting works. Then we have done analysis using the nesting of functions and the advanced lookups. Then the other thing we're going to look at in part 3 is now extracting reports. Okay, and it may not necessarily be reports, it might even be moving data from one worksheet or workbook to another. Okay, and then at this particular point, we will assume if you have received information from someone, maybe it is data, you've gotten data from a certain source. How do you clean this data? How do you clean this data? That's where now Power Query comes in. Power Query, I don't know if how many have used Power Query, but Power Query is an add-in. Add-in means it is a software that is riding on Excel. Power Query. Okay, so that Power Query will help us to clean data. Okay, we'll understand what a query is, because that is important. We first of all know what a query is, because once we understand what a query is a database term. The word query is a database term. Once we understand what a query is, then we can know the purpose of Power Query. Actually, if you look at these tools, these newer tools like Power BI and the likes of Tableau, there are so many business intelligence tools. I can assure you that they have the Power Query tool. For example, when I'm training Power BI, one of the tools that is embedded on Power BI is Power Query. So you use Power Query to transform the data, to split data sets, to clean the data, so many things. So we are also going to look at Power Query, how to load the data from a model, to modify the data sets, split, clean, like that. And then, of course, once you have cleaned the data, of course, now we'll move to modeling. And of course, at this week, part 3 or week 3, we will have already gone to advanced filter. By the way, if there's a class you don't want to miss, is part 3, session 1, using the advanced filter. The advanced sort, that one maybe not that important. We'll meet advanced sort in one of the assessments. It will be like a challenge. So maybe we may not find it interesting because it's very basic. What is important is the advanced filter command. The advanced filter command, it can help you to, from a huge data set, you can pick partial, you can pick the entire data. Okay, remember I'm using the word extracting, not filtering. Okay, it is called advanced filter, but you're going to use it for the purposes of extracting data. And the data we're going to be extracting now will be either in form of reports, summary reports. Okay, actually most developers, if you've interacted with these KRA files, sometimes you'll see they'll give you like a summary at the end automatically. So what developers do, once they have done the expert VBA, because they know the Visual Basic, the VBA Advanced, they can program the Excel to automatically apply the advanced filter, because the advanced filter, it can copy and paste information without any lag, without getting any lag in your file. Okay, so advanced filter, extremely important. We're going to look at all the characters, special characters, wildcard characters, a unique list, extracting unique list, and such, and or. And then now after that, we'll look at Power Query. I think session 2, part 3, the focus is on Power Query. Text to columns, that is a common command. It is just there to remind us of how to split a cell, to split content in a cell. And by the way, there's something very unique about text to column, something hidden. Sometimes you normally get dates that have errors. They have like a green icon at the corner of a cell. And then when you click that icon, it says there's an error you need to correct. And that error normally does not go away. So you can always use the text to column. So I'll show you how to use it. But Power Query will be the highlight. Power Query will be the highlight. Okay. So that even as you advanced into data analytics, okay, predictive analytics, descriptive analytics, you already have the skills of Power Query. Power Query in Excel, Power Query in Power BI, Power Query in other tools. So that is it. And then the last day, we'll now maybe talk about subtotals. There's something about subtotals that is very interesting. You summarize. Normally, they're used for creating quick reports, very quick reports. They are not as solid as advanced filter, but they're good when you want just to summarize your data very fast. We call them the subtotals. One of the challenges with the subtotals is to copy that information and use it somewhere, or transfer it somewhere, and then you create visualization. So that transferring it is normally the challenge, or that is the advanced bit. And then, of course, shortcuts. I teach or train keyboard shortcuts, but I'm not a fan of shortcuts. I prefer we go even if it is going the long way. And if it is keyboard shortcuts, it's not that I don't use, I use them, especially for filtering data. Control-Shift-L. I've used Control-Shift-L, sometimes it is so automatic with me. So maybe I'll give you tips on how to work with keyboard shortcuts, so that you don't just dwell so much time or put so much effort in understanding shortcuts, and maybe you'll not be able to use those shortcuts. So if you have a number of shortcuts, how many do you master? How do you master them? Okay, which keys can you be able to use? Now, so that one will be more of reports, cleaning data, like that, part 3. And then part 4, we'll now get into visualization. So data modeling and visualization, they normally go hand in hand. Modeling data, the word modeling data is a very huge term, but in a layman's language, we say that is how we ensure we understand, or we ensure our data sets are coordinated, they are organized. That is, the modeling we understand. But the word modeling in deep analytics, it means something different. But at our level here at advanced, when you say modeling, it means we have different data sets, different types of data sets. Maybe we have factual data set, maybe we have an unstructured, we have dimensional data sets. We want to create relationships, and then we use those data sets for the purposes of analytics. So we will use Power Pivot. So we'll talk about pivot tables. How do you prepare pivot tables? Those two fields in Pivot table where we put custom fields. You've created a pivot table, but you want to format it. So that one. And then something interesting is like when you want to refresh pivot tables. Normally, we were used to manually refreshing pivot table. You right click, refresh, and that is always a drawback with pivot tables. You can't refresh it. But in advanced level, we have to know how to automatically refresh pivot tables. Either number one, there's a setting that is there. When you open the file, the pivot table automatically refreshes. Or so that is good when you want the updates to be there the moment you open your machine or something, or the file. But also we can be able to use other techniques to automatically refresh the pivot table. Okay, so that is important. Then Power Pivot. Power Pivot is now the level at which we now model the data. Okay, creating relationships. You know, when you want to analyze data, you have to have data sets. So these data sets, what are data sets? So we'll get into what are data sets, different types of data sets. Okay, because analyzing data is not just looking at numbers, then getting an average. No, there's a systematic process on how we go about it. So the Power Pivot will help us to model the data and also visualize the data. Okay, so creating model relationships, dynamic data sets, pivot tables from dynamic data sets like that. And then we will get into charts and visualization. Oh, and by the study book that I was talking about, it has all that information about pivot tables. So you can read more about pivot tables, how to create them, settings. Okay, the basics are there. Okay, but now they're advanced. So now we add more into that. Also the charts, there's an entire topic on charts. So we'll do charts and then visualization. It is important to understand there's a difference between visualizations and dashboards. When you say I want to visualize my data, what do you mean? When you say I want to create dashboards, what do you mean? What are some of the things that you need to put into consideration? Okay, visualizing data, charts are part of visualization. A visual is anything that you can see that summarizes the data. Those are visualization. So charts are part of visualization. Charts are very important. But the other things like slicers, timelines, that can be used as visualizations. Okay, so that one we are going to look at. And then for the visualization, maybe I'll introduce things like Power Map, the Power BI that I've talked about. The Power BI. Power BI is more of a visualization tool. Okay, then as we end, there's that bit of automation. We are not going to do Visual Basic, not really. I see in some other curriculums people saying this is an Excel course, advanced Excel course. It will take 3 weeks, and you're going to do VBA and automation and macros. No, that is a lie. There is no way you can learn. What do you call it? OOP, object-oriented programming, in a span of less than 3 weeks, and then you learn the function. Then you learn that is not genuine. Okay, so what we'll do, and that's why I've said the introduction to macros and VBA. So we'll do the macros. Macros is easy. Recording the screen, that one is easy. But again, now we'll explore the VBA interface, the Visual Basic interface, so that when you see sometimes you have received a file and it is working on itself, then oh, it is a code that has been written somewhere. If I want to check this code, this is how I will click. So and then it is in VBA where we can do the automatic refreshing. Okay. Wow, I think I've mentioned so many things. Advanced Excel is interesting. I can assure you it is an interesting program. If you look at it in an interesting way, and if you find somebody who loves doing it, it is an interesting program. So that is what we are going to cover in this program. The highlights, I think I've talked about the highlights. I don't know if I've missed anything. I think I've mentioned the workbook is there, the assessments are there just to test our skills. I think before the end of this week, or maybe next week, I think this class will be lucky because we'll have the assessments ready, so that just to test ourselves. So that once you finish the Excel, you do like a test, just a Q&A, very fast. You multiple choices, and then it will be able to gauge you where you are. Then if you feel maybe at 50%, you can do more practice, get assistance from the trainer, like that. This is not like a class. This is more of like, it is actually training and consultancy. So sometimes some of my students, what they do, they have their work files. maybe there's something they do. Maybe we have done something. Yeah, you can always reach out and we see how we can work on the same file so that it becomes not only practical but something you can also apply in your day to day. So the program is starting Monday. I think we have been talking to our admin, Samantha. Samantha is a HR consultant. I think she's strategically placed there to advise on career growth and such. So if you're able to talk to her, then she'll be able to enroll you for the program. Or I don't know, maybe you've already joined the class. So if you have already joined, then we will see each other on Monday. We start with this amazing program. I don't know if there's any question. I'm also trying to see if there's something I've forgotten. Yeah, oh, and then by the way, very important, I think I almost forgot that. So the process, once you enroll for the program, the next step is there's a WhatsApp group that we have for this particular class. There's a WhatsApp group. So you join the group, that is where we'll be sharing the communication. That is where I will share the link to the class file and also a link to joining the class for the virtual class. I don't know if there are those who are coming for the physical class, but for those who are doing virtual class, both virtual and physical classes will be in the same group. So we'll be sharing information there. All the information will be there. So make sure you join the group early so that you can get any information. Then also, before the class starts, for example, today is Thursday. By the time we reach Monday, we always need to be ready with regards to the software version 2021. I hope 2021. So go and make sure you check what versions you are using. But we need version 2021, or if you are using 365, make sure it is updated. The other thing is, or in case maybe you are having difficulty with the software, we can arrange that one for free. We can support you with the software for free, the installation, so that at least on Monday you are ready. So that on Monday, it does not reach on Monday, then you start, oh, I have 2016, oh, I cannot. So early in advance so that we can have tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday to do the installation. Maybe if your computer has some issues, we can upgrade it so that now your class becomes better in terms of experience. Yeah, so I think that is important to note so that we are able to prepare in advance for the class. Yeah, so I think that is it. I don't think there's anything else. Maybe unless there's a question, I'm here to answer. If there's something I've left out, this course outline, you can find it on the website. I think I had already demonstrated that. You just go to where Advanced Excel is, and you scroll down, you'll find it here. There's a link here. Once you click on it, so it will open the course content. So on a daily basis, you can use it actually to track what you've covered, what you didn't cover. So in the interest of time, I don't know if there's a question, any question that you may have, any clarity. I hope you found this worthy. Let me see if... and by the way, we have the WhatsApp, the professional WhatsApp group. So that professional group is just for us to, maybe you don't want to get into class right now, but you want to keep in touch. So it's a good place. Sometimes we share insights of the industry, new versions of softwares that are coming up, news, maybe there are some award ceremony or certificates that we're having. You can always get into that group. We call it the professionals group. It is good, ideal for networking and, yeah. So I don't know if there's any other question. I think I want to take this opportunity and appreciate every one of you for making time to be here. Let me see if there are any. Is there a hand raised? I'm trying to see if there's anybody who has asked a question. Esther, you have something? Okay. So I think good. So maybe let me give people time to ask a question or to give any feedback or comment. Thank you. So yes, thank you, DK. Much welcome. Any question? So thank you. I hope to see you in class on Monday. I hope to see you in class on Monday. Reach out to Samantha. She'll be able to help you with the enrollment. So enroll as early as possible, if possible tomorrow, so that we have time on Friday, Saturday, Sunday to assist with checking your machines, so that on Monday we are ready to go. Thank you. In case there's a question, let me know. In case there's a question, let me know. Okay, thank you, and I think we can stop it at that. Or in case you might want to talk to me directly, sometimes you have a question, a quick question. That is my number there, 710-782-719. Sometimes you might just have a direct question, maybe you want to ask something on the side. So that is my number, 710-782-719. In case you don't want to talk to a consultant, maybe you want some clarity on the content or the delivery, you can reach out to me directly, and then I can answer. Okay, so thank you so much. I wish I had the link to the WhatsApp group. I don't know if it is there. We can be able to join. I don't know, Albert, if you have anything on your side.
I think so. I'm good. I just expect people to join the class.
Okay, so thank you so much. We hope to see you in class. In case you have anything, you can let me know. Have a good night. Have a good evening. Make sure you register so that at least we can be able to share more in class. We can challenge each other more in class. And I think that will be in order. So thank you and have a good night. I will leave this open for a while in case you have anything you can ask. So thank you. Have a good night. Hopefully, let us see each other on Monday at 8 p.m. Thank you.